we're now going to go back to February 2013, and the other day our intrepid reporter at that time, John Paton, was down at Brockholes with the reptiles, and in February 2013 he donned his Wellingtons and he went off to Ashton Park to find out all about a therapy garden. So this was a report that John did in February 2013.
So Donna, it's a nice sunny day today, a bit windy, but it's looking really good.
Thank you. It is. It's certainly coming on. It's taken a lot of hours from a team of amazing volunteers. But yes, we are slowly but surely breaking the back of it and getting there.
Fantastic. And it's the growing season is almost upon you, isn't it?
It is.
It feels like something's just about to come out of the ground here.
Exactly. You're getting towards the most exciting time, I think, in a gardener's life. And that's when you start sowing those first seeds. And, you know then it's all going to happen.
Fantastic. Now, for the listeners who don't know what we're talking about, tell us what we've been talking about.
We are digging northwest, and we are a therapeutic garden for military veterans.
Yeah.
We're based here in Ashton Park, just next to the bowling pavilion, and we are we are definitely going to open our gates in April to receive our first veterans. The idea is any veteran of any age, from any service, who is experiencing mental health problems, even something which may sound very simple but isn't, just feeling a little bit lonely, a little bit isolated, because nobody quite understands the things they're feeling. We are here to be there for those people. Come and get involved in some gardening and hopefully start to make you feel a little better and make you feel part of a team.
Fantastic. And I've described that, we're in the garden at the moment and you can hear the sort of scrunching noise of the gravel underfoot. But this was a wilderness when you first came here.
Indeed. I can't believe that it was only in sort of July that I was shown this site, and being the optimist that I am, I looked at this utter jungle and just went, yes, please, thank you very much. We would love that site. And thought to myself, right, we've got 12 months to clear that, and then we'll get going. But as with all plans, they were there to be broken, and Channel 5 came along, brought a TV crew, they brought a gang of ex-service personnel and more volunteers than you can imagine.
Terrific.
And built this garden in a week, which I still haven't quite gotten over.
It's amazing, isn't it? And this is the old Victorian walled garden that I'm assuming was associated with Ashton House at one stage.
Absolutely. This would have been the kitchen garden for the main house. After that, sort of historically, it was used by the council for their greenhouses, and then was left unattended for about 20 years. I mean, even you can see we've got cold frames here that we found underneath the undergrowth, and we've managed to maintain and keep, and we will use those for our own growing.
Terrific. So a bit of continuity there with
Definitely.
What was here before. But it's a nice enclosed area, isn't it? It's a very high wall on one side, a nice open aspect on another, but with plenty of space to move around for people who can walk around, and also for people who are perhaps disabled in some ways. They can get in and around.
Absolutely. There's complete disabled access, and for anybody who has any mobility problems, although, as you said, the crunchiness of the gravel might put people off, but underneath that there is a substance, I'm not really sure what it's called, some kind of terra firma.
It's a sort of interlocking plastic surface, isn't it?
As you can see, I never quite got all the technical terms.
Support.
But absolutely, so it makes it a very safe, very secure path to walk on.
Fantastic. And so, how soon are you going to be planting? Don't know, what's the, we talked about, spring is almost upon us. But what are you going to be doing to get things moving?
In March, I will be down here and I'll be in the greenhouse sowing the first seeds. Yeah. We will have a launch event for all of our supporters to say thank you to all those people that have helped us get this far in March. And then in April, we will open the gates. The veterans will come in and they will take over the growing, and it won't stop from then on.
Fantastic. But since July, and you mentioned the Channel 5 event, you've been working very hard on the sort of background administration of this project, haven't you?
Yes.
So it's now a charity, is that right?
We're a community interest company.
Right, okay.
Which is sort of a conglomerate between a charity and a business. So we are still not for profit. Absolutely nobody will make any money out of this organisation, but it means that we can maintain some control over running the organisation. And yes, I have learnt probably more in the last 6 months than I've learnt in my 44 years. But no, new skills, new challenges, and each one of them embraced.
Fantastic. And obviously this hasn't been achieved without some money being involved and lots of people giving support. And you're having fundraising events. The next one is when, Donna?
It's on Tuesday the 19th of this month. It's in Grimsby. It's in a lovely house called Chapel House down Elston Lane. And we are having a coffee morning there. The lovely people of Grimsby Gardening Group have,
yes.
You know them.
Well, I've heard of them.
They have organised this for us. I'll be there with information if people want to come and say hello and meet the team. And there'll be sort of gifts to buy. There'll be greetings cards to buy, and of course coffee and a beautiful garden to look around. Come and see the snowdrops.
Right, so snowdrops are out. But even before that, you've got a special, a regular event.
Yes.
For people to get stuck in.
We have on Saturday this week, that's the 16th, we're holding a volunteer work day. And we're here between 10 and 4. And anybody, even if you have just half an hour and think that you have no skills whatsoever, believe me, there is a job that you can do. We're going to be doing everything from putting up fences to painting fences, just everything. I
can see you've got some fences that have been painted, and there's a sort of a few panels of fences over there, right?
Yes.
On the edge of the plot that are unpainted. Just walk with me. We'll have to put up with the wind noise and describe what else we've got here, because you've got these. You mentioned the Victorian
cold frames.
Cold frames, that's what they are. They've got sort of corrugated plastic over the top at the moment. What are you going to be putting in there?
What will happen is, as the seedlings grow in the greenhouse, as they get ready to start being hardened off, they'll come under there. So we'll be growing everything from broad beans to sweet peas to cabbage, anything.
Right.
And then obviously we've got the growing beds. We've got 10 little square beds that we'll use for growing a mixture of vegetables, fruit, and then we also want to dedicate some of the space, and there's some space along by the fence as well, to species of plants that will attract wildlife.
Good.
Already we get a lot of wildlife coming into this garden, so we really want to maximise that, get the butterflies, the bees, the insects, and so on in here.
Terrific. That'll be nice in the summer. Nice smell of various different plants coming up and out. But I think from what you've said to me before, we have talked before, haven't we? It's not all about the gardening, it's about actually being here.
Indeed. The gardening is just the tool that we use. The idea is that when people come here, be they veterans or indeed in some of the sessions it will be the partners of veterans.
Yeah.
In other sessions it will be the families. It's being amongst people who understand you. Yes. And I don't think there's any surprise in knowing that some veterans find it very difficult to reintegrate into a civilian lifestyle.
Yes.
They've experienced things that you and I couldn't even imagine. And I don't say this with rose-tinted spectacles. I'm married to a veteran who was in Bosnia, so I know what that can do to somebody. So coming here, you're amongst people that truly understand you. You don't have to talk to each other. You don't have to share stories. You can just be quiet together. You can just be talking about gardening together, but know that you understand each other. And I think, we all need that.
Certainly, yes. And so the garden is a means to an end. It's to help people come to terms with things a bit more in their own heads and with other people who share their experiences to some extent.
Exactly. It's never ever about the garden. If nothing got planted and if nowhere got weeded, it actually wouldn't matter if everybody leaves here at the end of the session feeling happier than when they got here. That's my job.
Yeah.
My job is not to make gardeners of people. If we do, great, because there's a lot of benefits to get from gardening. But my job is to create an atmosphere that allows people to leave here feeling better than when they arrived.
Terrific. And gardening is a very, very good way, though, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's fantastic.
Something to occupy them while their mind is occupied as well, and perhaps other things.
Yeah, it's a distraction. It's, you get to make decisions, which, if you've been brought up in an army style, they will be the first people to tell you, and they do tell you, people can become institutionalized. They don't have to make many decisions on a day-to-day basis, and so coming here, they will, start to do that again.
Terrific.
But in a very relaxed and comfortable atmosphere.
People coming here will be referred in the main, will they, from organisations like perhaps the British Legion or...
Indeed. People like the British Legion, people like the NHS, people like the Personnel Recovery Unit over at the barracks. But if somebody is listening and feels that they would benefit and they're not in touch with any of those agencies, they can still contact me and we can work through that with them. So, my aim is that we are open to whoever needs us.
Give us your contact details then, Donna. We'll repeat these at the end of this piece, but give us your details just now.
Of course. If you want to ring me, it's 078 101 28019. Or the email address is info@diginnorthwest, all one word, .org.
Terrific, thank you. And again, we talked about it being a nice day today, but if it's even not a nice day, you've got a nice, comfortable a pavilion almost here.
How grand.
Like. Yes, fantastic. I've just been in there with you, and it's lovely and warm in there today. It's very cold outside, but it's lovely and warm in there. Somebody's working very hard. One of your volunteers, is he?
He is. This is a gentleman called Phil, who is a very good friend of mine, who is an electrician. He's already done the electrics for us. And again, every piece of electrical equipment that we've needed, the wires, the sockets, and everything from a fridge to a microwave, everything has been donated by a local supplier. But Phil's in there dealing with electrics and plasterboarding. So, people have been here. Certainly, obviously, my husband's been very much involved. His work colleague has done a lot for us, and people have given up so much of their free time. I have to say I've been quite overwhelmed.
And I would imagine you're still hoping that people will continue to give up free time to help.
Indeed.
And provide for, their own skills in particular for various things. Have you got any gaps that you...
Yes, we do.
That was heartfelt.
We desperately need somebody who knows about roofs. We do have... Well, it's called a flat roof, but I'm really not sure it is because it seems to have a dip in it, and we have a proper puddle on top of the roof.
Dear.
A local company has very kindly been and put guttering and fascias up, and we thought that would solve the problem, but it was still dripping at one corner. So we've investigated, and we do have a problem with the roof. So anybody that can advise me on that, and anybody that knows how to hang gates. We've got some big wooden gates that need hanging, and I think that's probably a skill beyond
And it's
me.
It's not just brute force needed with that, is it?
No,
it's very definitely getting it right.
Yeah.
Well, I hope Donna got the roof sorted there. That was an interview that John Paton did with Digging Northwest, Donna Rowe Green, around the therapy garden in Ashton Park. And that was done in February of 2013. We will try to find out how the therapy park is doing and update you on that over the next coming few days. So stay tuned to find out more.